Do you ever find yourself in situations where you feel like you have no control over what's going to happen? In general, do you feel like you're driving the bus in your life, or you're just along for the ride? While it's not black and white, your answer to that question is an indicator of your perceived locus of control. In this video, I'm going to discuss what locus of control is and what it means for your life. Locus of control is a clinical term used to define whether you believe the things that happen in your life are largely within your control or mostly controlled by outside forces. Psychologists broadly categorize people as having either an internal or an external locus of control. However, it's not a discrete one or the other quality. Rather, it's a spectrum that indicates your natural tendency towards certain beliefs and types of behaviors. It can also be affected by context. So, someone who tends toward an external locus of control in one domain of her life, for example, relationships, may lean in the other direction in another domain, for example, in her career. An internal locus of control is a belief that you have the ability to consciously choose and control your destiny. It's a similar concept to autonomy, which is a key tenet of self-determination theory. I've covered the idea of autonomy in another video if you want to check it out here. Autonomy is more inward-looking, focusing on the degree to which you feel like you get to choose the things you do or the way you do them. Locus of control, on the other hand, is a more generalized and outward-looking view of your life, a measure of whether the things that happen in your life are within your control. People who have an external locus of control tend to believe that things happen to them. They tend to believe that they're the victim of their circumstances and blame things or other people for them. They make excuses for why they don't, or more typically, can't do something. They tend to use words and phrases like fate, chance, unpredictable, luck, destiny. He made me do it. She made me feel this way. It's meant to be. It's not my fault. It's out of my control. They tend to believe that things like the economy, their upbringing, the weather, or even karma are the major determining factors of how their lives unfold. People who have an internal locus of control, on the other hand, tend to take ownership for the things that happen in their lives. They believe that they alone, through their choices, are the single most important factor that determines their destiny. They use words like choose, decide, control, learn, responsibility, perseverance, and consequences. They adapt well to changing circumstances and don't view failure as a sign that they're incapable or that the universe is trying to tell them something. Instead, they understand that many things worth doing in life require trying, failing, learning from the experience, and trying again and again. This is what's known as a growth mindset, a term coined by Stanford University professor Carol Dweck, PhD, and described in her book, Mindset: The New Psychology of Success. Having at least a slightly internal-leaning locus of control is a prerequisite for self-efficacy, which is a term I've discussed in another post. Self-efficacy is a general sense of your ability to accomplish something. It's essentially just a fancy word for self-confidence, although there is a subtle difference between the two terms. An internal locus of control is essential to self-efficacy because no matter how confident you may be in your abilities, you won't even try to do something if you don't believe that your actions will have any effect on the outcome. Consequently, having at least a slightly internal-leaning locus of control is a foundational component of being an effective human being. Making a choice is one way that you can exert control over the circumstances of your life. As we'll see, sometimes just the perception of control is sufficient to satisfy your needs. As long as you believe that your choices matter, meaning that you have at least some ability to influence outcomes in a way that you desire, then you will generally be happier, healthier, more motivated, and achieve more of what you want in life. Locus of control is such a foundational aspect of motivation that I decided to dedicate an entire series of videos to the topic. In the videos that follow, I'll be discussing various aspects and implications of your perceived locus of control. Specifically, I will cover the biological basis of your need for control, the effect of perceived locus of control on your psychology and your physiology, how we respond to situations where control is taken from us, why your preference for choice is irrational, how to exert control in challenging situations, and how to apply this knowledge to your own life. Before proceeding further, I'd like to point out that the words choice and control are used in this series more or less interchangeably. I'm well aware that those words do not mean the exact same thing. However, every choice you make is, by definition, an attempt to exert control over a situation. Whether that choice ultimately yields the desired result does not change the underlying desire for control that prompted your action. It's in this context, relative to your perceived locus of control, that the word choice is a reasonable surrogate for control. I hope you enjoy this series on locus of control. Let me know by leaving a comment below. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share it with them. If you want to learn more about how you can supercharge your motivation, check out my website by clicking on the Motivation Mindset logo. My goal is to help you with your motivation challenges. If you have a specific problem you'd like help with, you can reach out to me directly at rich@themotivationmindset.com. Thanks for watching.